The following podcast may contain spoilers, strong language, graphic violence, and nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. Trash is taking the clothes off again.
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Donnie, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
Her name was Trash?
Yeah.
Her name was Trash.
God damn
It was
this movie.
I didn't get any of their names.
I didn't get
really
any of their
heard them.
dialogue.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
They're all garbage people except for Joanna Man.
Here
I just referred to him as Jerry Curl.
That works too.
All right, let me get through this. Hey everybody, welcome to the 4 a.m. podcast, the podcast where friends gather together and just torture each other with garbage and nonsense. I'm your host this week, Lil Sebastian, joined by my friends who will introduce themselves.
Brian.
William.
Garbage bag? I don't
I was going to go with Trash Bag, but I guess I'm just Joe now.
Joe Bag.
Okay, no. You go with trash bag, I'll be tar man.
Okay, good.
Okay.
You could bite a hole in my skull.
Oh boy, couldn't we all just bite holes in all of the skulls?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this episode we watched Return of the Living Dead from 1980 something.
5, I think.
That was 1985, yes.
Golly,
No,
hey,
It
Brian.
stank of 1984.
It sure did. Hey, Brian,
Yeah.
what's your history with this movie?
So I remember watching this movie a lot whenever it came on when I was a kid, and I dug it. Like it well, one, because if I caught it on Showtime, there was titties.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
A liberal amount.
Yeah.
But,
In the most unsexy way.
But like too, like it was just the right level of scary for me as a kid, where like I knew it wasn't real, but like I still could be scared of something. So it was like right on the good vein for me for that. So yeah, as a kid, I love this shit.
Where on the scary level was the half dog?
That was funny. That still is funny.
All right. Joe, Garbage Joe, or whatever you call yourself.
Trash Bag. I don't think I've ever seen this before. I've seen the clips of Tarman. That was it.
All right.
Just because I guess he's like a reoccurring character. I saw him in like a makeup thing.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. William Dafoe.
William Dafoe. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know this was a thing until today.
Not sure it is still. Tony.
Yeah, now I feel super comfortable talking about this, but yeah, I was a fan of this movie.
Yeah, I pounded off to this.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
No, I mean, yeah, when I was the right age, the nudity was like, yay, nudity. But the bigger thing for me was, I again, as it's come up several times, I like those things like Gremlins, the kind of good horror comedies, and I love the special effects in this. That like the Tar Man is like pretty much one of the things I think of when someone says zombie, as well as the torso woman, who we'll get into. But yeah, like I really enjoyed this.
Okay. I didn't know this was a thing. The end.
I guess.
All right, good night, everybody.
Yeah, goodbye.
So, what's the original Living Dead?
Night
It's
of the
in the
Living
Night
Dead.
of the Living Dead.
It's in this. That's in this from the '60s, right?
They're
Yeah,
coming
we'll
to
get
get
into
you,
it.
Barbara.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tony. I didn't mean to step on your fucking bit.
No, I'm not.
Damn, some venom from Will.
Venom.
I think he got into the trioxin.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, break it down for me.
He's been vaping that stuff.
Well, yeah. Okay.
My jewel pod.
Well, I gotta throw this out there. This is directed by Danny Bannon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who brought us Bloodbath and Restricted, but he is also the writer, or one of the lead writers on Dark Star, Total
Mhm.
Recall, Life Force, and Alien. So
He wrote Alien. He wrote the screenplay for Alien.
yeah,
He also
Is he-
came up with the original concept.
yeah.
Is Life Force? Oh no, I'm sorry. Life Force is a different one. That's not the one with the first documented case of like tentacle rape.
No,
No, that's a different movie.
so.
Life Force. I remember now. That's
Dear God.
totally different movie.
What?
John would know.
Oh, the one that's the one where the puppy goes to the mall and gets a cookie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, yeah. Uh, so anyway, a gentleman by the name of Tom Fox wrote the original script. He basically had it as a direct sequel to Night of the Living Dead. Even though George Romero had already done Dawn of the Dead at that point and was continuing with that series on his own, it was all the craze. Night of the Living Dead made zombies what they are today. It basically made them in general.
Again, this is Night of the Living Dead you're talking about?
Yes, Night of the Living Dead.
What year did that come out?
It was 1968, I believe.
And it's black and white, right? And it's
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know anything about these, so thanks for.
No, that's fine.
I'm just like, I don't know.
Now, Tony, whatever you say about the script,
Mhm.
I'm not going to believe because I refuse to believe that this movie had a script.
Well, okay. Well, first of all, the original script was thrown out anyway because
Mm-hmm.
originally they brought this to Toby Hooper and it was going to be in 3D, but he dropped out. They then brought it to
I
Dan
believe the
O'Bannon.
original script was cremated.
It basically was because Dan O'Bannon was like, I don't want to walk all over Romero's stuff. We want to do something totally different because I respect the man. I don't want to fuck with that. So he rewrote it and added
Just
the humor.
make a parody of his stuff.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you to each their own. The role of Bert was originally offered to Leslie Nielsen, but
was
he wanted
offered to
too
Bert
much
the
money.
Muppet.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he wanted too much money, so they went to Robert Webber, who just hated the script. So they went to Scott Bradley, who was dying. So we just continue to move down the list.
Was he dying or did he kill himself after reading the script? He was like, "Oh, I can't do it, dying."
Wow.
Totally
Vincent-
dying now.
Vincent Chiavelli was originally offered the role, or was at least considered for the role of Ernie.
Who was the actor and who was the character you're talking about?
Oh, wait.
Vincent Chiavelli is the actor. I was wondering if I should bring this up because I figure you guys wouldn't know, but I can tell you he was the organ grinder from Batman Returns.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
So yeah.
Tony,
Yeah,
how
who
is it I didn't know until now that the main characters were Bert and Ernie?
I caught on to that real quick.
Which one's Ernie? The kid?
The mortician.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that Brick's dad?
That is not intentional, by the way. I did look that up. That was not an intentional.
Intentional? Come on.
That was
call
just not
bullshit.
intentional. Hey, you didn't catch on to it till just now.
Because I couldn't hear most of the dialogue. I didn't know who was called what anybody was saying. I heard the F-bomb about 300,000 times, and then Ronald McDonald took her tits out. That was about it.
I think.
Okay. Well,
And Frank screamed every scene he was in.
Yeah, well, that too.
yeah, that's what he does. Miguel and Nunez Jr. was actually homeless at the time. This is one of his first big roles, and really started him out in his film career.
Isn't that the kid from Malcolm in the Middle?
No,
No.
no, that is Joanna Man.
Okay.
What else has he been in that I've seen?
Joanna Man.
No,
Yeah.
like I've seen that dude in stuff.
Oh, he was
Speed
in
He's a lot of 90s
the movie Light
shows.
with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence.
Friday the 13th, The New Beginning, maybe. He was the guy that goes, "Ooh baby, when he's taking a shit.
I don't remember.
Now I remember him.
He was also in Carnosaur. Carnosaur 2, I'm sorry. Carnosaur 2.
Because it needed a sequel.
Street Fighter. Yeah. Any of these ringing a bell, Rob? Can I stop?
Rob.
You
I-
should.
The
You should.
Adventures of
You're not
Pluto
doing this man.
Nash.
I
You're not
want you to
doing
keep
this man a
going.
service.
Rob.
Hmm.
He was also in Joanna Man.
He wasn't in No Retreat, No Surrender?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, all right.
You're thinking of someone else.
He was in Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps.
I haven't seen any.
Leprechaun
of those.
4 in space.
All right. So
Will, are you making that up?
Slam Dunk Ernest.
he's wait, what?
Huh.
Now you're making it up.
No, it's on his filmography.
No way. Oh God, that poor man. So anyway, trying to kick this off. The Tarman zombie, to connect us to our ever-growing connection of movies here, was performed by Alan Trutzman, who was a big person working with Jim Henson and the Muppets. So we have an official Muppeteer.
He played Sweetums, right?
I could use
Wow.
Tarman in the Muppet movie.
Hell yeah.
Brains.
Some of the extras that played zombies were paid extra money if they were willing to eat real cow brains on film, which Dan O'Bannon said, "Don't worry, guys. I'll take one for the team. I won't ask you to do it if I won't do it myself." So he did. Tina falling through the steps when she runs up the stairs there was kind of real. It was a fake step, but she did not know they were doing that. They replaced the step when she was on lunch break, and then they filmed that shot.
Oh, wow.
Oh, damn.
That was sweet of them. Freddy's jacket, you might have caught, says "fuck you" in the version we watched, which is the theatrical version. But there was a television version where that was changed to just say "television version."
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's a comedy movie. They can do that.
I love that was his first day to work jacket.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
want to tell your employer
I
what they're
have
getting.
thoughts about this job.
Yeah. But did you
Yeah.
did you see where he was working and the area around where he was working?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I'm not saying it
totally
was the
normal.
wrong move. I'm saying it was a bold move. You tell them straight ahead. This is how I feel.
So apparently a man named Graham Henderson, who was like one of the bigwigs with the studio, happened to come in on the day when they were shooting the infamous dancing on the tombstone bit, to which he shouted out, "Hey, you can't show pubes on television." So I don't
She
know
didn't have
why.
none.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because then Dan asked Linnea Quigley to go shave completely. They came
God.
back to shoot it again, at which point he was like, "My God, that's even worse. Now you can see everything." So they had to make her a prosthetic piece. So you actually weren't seeing any of her in those scenes.
Even from behind?
I don't know how much of the ass you were seeing was real.
Not
but
her ass. Like, I saw her vagina.
You probably didn't. It was probably part of the prosthetic.
But it was a good prosthetic because you could see her vag from behind.
Yeah, like they
But,
make
yeah.
the
Yeah.
thongless thong shit now. It's just basically like a fucking like piece of plastic you just put in your fucking
Yeah.
crack. Like so,
Well-
it's probably what was like the earliest version of that shit.
Yeah, they said it was actually like almost glued on. So I don't know. But Dan O'Bannon also said about that scene that he, was kind of gearing it towards the audience he expected. But when he saw that there were a lot of women that were interested in the movie, he regretted not having Freddy get naked at one point too. So at
There
least
was
he's opportunity.
a naked guy in the movie.
There was sort of, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the skeleton rising out of the grave and opening its mouth was one of the biggest disappointments from the effects studio.
They're
Really?
not wrong.
Why?
Yeah,
Why
But
is that?
became one of the most popular scenes shown in like all the trailers for this movie and everything. So
They liked it so much they used it twice.
yeah. Well, that again was intentional, but yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so do you want to guess at the budget this movie had to make?
$12.
$12 and a bucket of mud.
A bedpan's worth of Baba Boom.
I'm gonna say 6 million.
For real though, I'm gonna say $1 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna go between them. I'm gonna say 3. I don't think this had a lot.
Yeah, I'll say 2.
Oh, good call, Joe. It was $4 million.
Mhm.
Want to guess how much it made?
I think it did all right. I
Yeah.
think like $10 million.
Oh man, I was gonna say 10. I'll say 15.
Well, I was gonna say 15, so I'll say 16.
$16 million and $1.
Oh, you bet on the wrong horse there, Brian. It was $14 million.
Oh,
Oh,
So that's still a big,
Wow.
big gains for them.
yeah. Like in the 80s, like those movies could do that.
Yeah.
You know,
This
you
was
spend
practically-
some change and you make it back.
Yeah, this was practically like the early model for Blumhouse movies. Like spend
Yeah.
nothing, make a ton.
Turn it into a franchise.
Yeah.
Buy a total of 4 sets
Yeah.
and a model artillery piece, and you're all set. So, do we need to talk about the cast? Like,
I mean, not
Clue
really.
Gulager and Linnea Quigley. All right,
They're
go.
varied
Sure.
and awful. Yeah, I thought Clue Gulager was just a joke I kept hearing on Mystery Science Theater. I didn't think it was an actual person.
that
Oh my God, Rob.
was Ernie.
That was Bert.
Bert. Okay.
And James.
Ernie was played by
Karen?
Don Calfa.
Frank?
Yeah, James Karen played Frank. Tom Matthews is Freddy, and I think that basically covers everyone.
Yeah,
We
they're
mentioned
pretty good.
Miguel A. Nunez Jr. as Spider.
Yeah. The rest don't really matter too
Mhm.
much.
All right,
Sigh.
Yeah.
we got a good amount of stuff to talk about here.
No, we
Do
don't.
we?
It's a fast
No.
movie.
This,
No.
It's a
this-
fast movie.
This movie, yeah, but it was
No.
pretty densely packed with
No.
some pretty
Bullshit.
bad stuff. Yeah.
Well, let's dive in, shall we?
$4 million worth of bullshit. You need a medical supply? You got to work at this warehouse.
Yeah.
You need a
So-
medical supply.
Yeah, like PPE, like masks, ventilators, medical supplies.
Right.
No,
yeah.
no, there was no PPE used here at all.
Clearly not. Yeah.
Need
There
a half
was,
dog? Need a half
Mhm.
dog? Need a cadaver? There we
No,
go.
half a
Like,
dog. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
you meet Frank, Bert, and Freddy, and then whatchamacallit, Bert's immediately pieces out. And it looks like they just told Frank to give Freddy a tour of the set. And he's like, do we have lines? He's like, nah, just give him a tour of the
Just
set.
point at shit and talk for as long as you can.
Yeah, you learn in great detail how you classify the 6 skeletons that they own.
We got
And,
an hour and a half runtime. We need 36
Yeah.
minutes of you explaining this crap to this dude.
We got
Showing them how to pack a skeleton in a box.
We got a split dog over there. Make sure you talk to him about the split
Well,
dog.
that's one of the weird things. I don't want to say a good job necessarily, but they do a lot of things where it's like, we're going to set up something because it's going to come in later. But-
as a joke.
But yeah, it's you get the setup, you get the punchline, but that's it. It's like those 2 scenes and that's it. It's not really relevant to the story,
Well,
but we're
like-
setting it up.
So they're like, he walks over to a bedpan. He's like, what goes on here? Like, ba ba boom. And then Freddy says something, and then he's like, don't joke around. And then he's takes him to the cadaver room. You meet the one cadaver that's in there. And then you cut to all the punks who are walking down the street declaring their desire to party. You get the
Is that-
critical conversation of, do you like sex with death or death with sex? And
This
you're like,
is,
Put
yeah.
those hands together.
yeah, you're like, are we gonna spend the entire movie with these people? Because I
So
really don't want to.
4 out of the 5 of us are kids of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody acted like this. This was not
On TV, they
Yeah,
on
did.
yeah, on TV. On
Yeah, well-
TV.
Rob, I hate to break it to you, but nobody really acted like Shaggy or Scooby either. But
yeah,
that's how the media portrayed it.
yeah. I mean,
Fake news, talking dogs.
Yeah,
Shit.
they've been getting people wrong in movies forever.
They've just been
um,
getting people wrong
yeah.
forever.
So, all right, now it cuts back to Frank and Freddy just filling out forms or whatever. And Freddy's like, yo, what's the weirdest thing you ever seen in here? And that's when we get the story of Night of the Living Dead, where the movie wasn't made the right way because they didn't want to tell exactly what happened.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
one
about-
time I saw a movie plot line come through here.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Also,
About-
the beginning of this movie straight up tells you it's a true story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just straight
Yep.
up says that on the screen.
Yeah. I
So-
also found IMDb trivia that claimed that this was all very accurate to the truth, which I don't know.
Accurate to what truth?
I don't know.
Okay.
I-
Okay.
They
See,
didn't
what
have a
happened was-
script, so I don't know what it's accurate compared to.
in those canisters was some dead bats, and
Yep.
and then yeah,
Yeah.
So, all right, you learned that they got this 2,4,5 trioxin that makes corpses jump around, and you know,
Cypress Hill.
And get down.
get up, and get down. And I believe you are thinking of House of Pain there, Will.
Yeah, whatever.
So
Okay,
It
Boomer.
happens. It happens. Come on.
everybody jump. Anyway, so they're like, yeah, the army shipped the zombies here by mistake. And, we never did anything to rectify that error. So,
Why would we?
yeah,
Right.
you want to go see them? So
You want to see a dead body?
Yeah, instead of saying no, like anyone else would, Freddy's like, sure, let's go see him.
I mean, listen, like looking at Freddy, has he said no to much? Like,
No.
No. Look at the crew Freddy rolls with. There's no way he's saying no to a dead body.
Yeah, I want to learn like why Freddy got the job. Like, I just find it
Somebody
interesting.
had to pay for gas.
I guess, yeah.
His uncle's Big Bird.
I think they all like drew straws or something, and Freddy was the one who's like, shit, I gotta go get a job. So they go down into this creepy basement, and he's like, watch out for the third step. It's a bitch. And then, you see this corpse storage, and there is like a desiccated corpse in like an old army barrel that's got a unique kind of lid thing. And then, like, Freddy's like, is this safe? And Frank's like, oh, these things don't leak. Slaps it, and it immediately the seal breaks. Gas sprays all over them. They, like, pass out. The zombie inside the barrel starts to melt. And then, like, you get some pretty kick and synth music. I'll give this movie one thing. The soundtrack, I was feeling it with the early 80s punk.
I mean,
and
I suppose.
Yeah.
Also,
and the
fun little
synth
side
tunes
note-
here for the trioxin theme.
Yeah. Added thing here, to make that scene, they had a corpse. Obviously, a corpse. They had a skull that they put wax skin over, and they slowly melted it away. But when the glass breaks, that was not intentional. That was actually just because it was so hot from them doing that technique. But it's a cool touch.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a cool effect. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
So you see the trioxin works its way through the place's ventilation and goes right into the cooler and sprays all over the cadaver they have in there. And then you just cut to some mansion somewhere guarded by some army guys. And you get this military man that I'm only going to refer to as Colonel Sourpuss, because he comes home and he's just immediately shitting on everything. He's like, yeah, our work sucked today. This lady's like, I made lamb chops. He's like, I already had them for lunch. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then he goes and like fires up his crazy microwave communicator that like would just be a cell phone today.
Right.
Yeah,
Literally,
and he's like,
cell phone is.
they need to be able to reach me 24 hours a day. And I guess that's what that's what being on call looked like in 1984. So his wife's like, I hate everything about our life. When are we going to stop? And he's like, when I find the barrels, I may never find them.
When you die, bitch.
Yeah.
It's the Donkey Kong origin story.
And then he's like, also, I'm not going to be in this movie anymore till the very end when they need to make up an ending quick. So.
Yeah, this kind of screamed of reshoots.
It's gonna be long. It's gonna be pointless. It's gonna be terrible.
It's gonna be me.
So, he's gone. Like, you don't see him again until like 5 minutes left in the film. Like, you're like, all right, bye, army man. So
who were you?
Yeah, you cut to the punks driving in their convertible car with the smashed out windows, and they go to pick up Freddy from work. He's not off till like 10 o'clock. So, and they get there at 8. And so like the guy that's driving, who's a sourpuss throughout this whole movie as well, is like, well, why the fuck did I drive here now? Like, I don't have the gas to go anywhere else. And I'm like, you got a good point there. Why did you drive here now?
Well, because the ancient Egyptians tried to pull his brain out through his nose, but kind of stopped halfway through and just left
the chain
No.
there.
As someone who was one of the first people to get their license in a friend group, I can tell you this is the bullshit that you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Where someone's like, yeah, let's go here just to use up your gas.
So, I mean, I know it's not going to be a problem, but there's also no room for Freddy in that car when they pick him up.
No.
No, he was gonna sit under trash.
Yeah.
Well, wait, what's his girlfriend's name?
Oh
Tina?
no, sorry,
Tina.
Tina.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Sitting in his lap. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah. All right. So they're like, yeah, let's just go fuck around in the cemetery for 2 hours. Which honestly, like in that age, I might just be like, yeah, all right, let's go fuck around in the cemetery
hell
for 2
yeah.
hours.
And Trash is like, yes, it's making my woman penis hard.
Yep, we're not quite there yet, but we're getting close.
Well, she's already started. Don't
She's
yeah.
content to like frolic about the place right now. And like Sourpuss McChain Face is like already complaining about things. And everyone else right now is just random, like attempting to have a personality punk, but still managing to be a personality-less character. So Freddie and Frank wake up in the basement and just like, oh, that sucked. And, you know, this from now on, Frank, every scene he's in, he's either retching or screaming. So he chooses retching first for
Dude,
this movie.
this coughing scene goes on so
For a while.
long.
It's way too long.
Yeah.
And like they see that the corpse is broken out of the vat, and they're like, well, maybe he melted. And it's like, he didn't melt. Like there's nothing in the vat. But they go upstairs and they're like, do you hear a dog? And we get the half dog they mentioned before in the tour
Such
that's
a
been
waste.
taxidermied is alive. And I love the reaction to just kill it with the crutch. Start like beating this dog. And
Now,
what I love with this movie though is because I genuinely believe that there's no plan here. So I think they were just like, yeah, just fucking hit the dog. I don't know. Like the performances in that regard look genuine because it looks like they were just told to do that 5 minutes before it happened.
like, it
Probably.
looks like they got all the actors just super high. And
Yeah.
we're like, just go. It's zombies. And I love some good puppet trauma. Everybody on this podcast knows that. I was so let down by this.
This didn't do it for you?
It did not.
I was souped up by beating the half dog.
It wasn't really a puppet. It was just a stuffed animal.
It was just a stuffed
Yeah.
animal with like a balloon in it to make it. Like maybe if they had thrown it or like pulled the intestines out of it or something.
Something, yeah.
Just
So
And it's funny because like they tried to make like to spray some like slime on it to like make it glisten a little bit on the other side, but like it's just rubber. Like it's not even like a decent looking inside or something. Like,
Well, that's another one where I read they said if they had a bigger budget, it would have been a Doberman Pinscher and it would have done more. But you know,
So now you start hearing noises from the cooler, and you're like, yo, that's the cadaver. And it's like freaking out in there. So Freddy, like if I were Freddy and this is my first day of work, this is when I'm like, I'm getting my fuck you jacket and I'm going home.
read the jacket and I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're done here. But Freddy
he did that job, yo.
He did. He was a loyal employee. So instead of going outside, where I would have just gone outside just to air out after getting blasted in the face with fucking zombie gas.
zombie farts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like they're like, nah, let's go to the office. And yeah, they freaking just go chill there and wait for Bert. And then shit just gets weird. So Trash and
stuff gets weird.
Spider are hanging out by a grave. And I only know Trash as David Bowie because she looks like Ziggy Stardust era David Bowie.
Definitely
and
post transformation.
She is really, really feeling it about getting eaten by a bunch of old men. And she's like rubbing herself and all that. And I'm like, this is weird. And then she's like, first thing they do, tear off my clothes and just rips her shirt off. And then everyone's like, oh, hey, Trash is getting naked again. Like she just does this all the time.
Yeah,
Get the
that's
Vaseline
What
out
she
of the
does?
trunk.
I know there are some ladies that were like, this is how they got their attention, but like we're going with it in this movie. We're doing a a strip cheese nudie dance on top of someone's tomb. And yeah, there was a time when, like 15-year-old Joe would go like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
But yeah,
like now I'm just
almost 40-year-old Joe is like, movie, what are you doing?
it's starting out, and I'm like, she's talking and sitting on the grave. I'm like, oh, is this? Yeah, and then it escalates, and I'm like, oh, Oh no. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
I like the tearaway crotch on what otherwise is just the outline of underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess technically those were pants. They were just really short pants. But like, I didn't get the strategy there. I guess it just becomes chaps. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, and then it's just a random nudie dance, and everyone's like watching, and then we just cut back to Bert, and I'm like, all right, I guess that's over. That happened.
And
Yep.
this scene with Bert it just goes on
Yeah.
forever. Just goes
But
on.
Naive me, I was like, all right, well, I thought that was just a random 80s like titty moment, but in this case, a random 80s full frontal and back moment.
Mm-hmm.
And no, she's just naked for the rest of the movie.
Yep, the whole
Like,
rest of the movie.
That's
The
just
whole
it.
rest of
She's
whatever
just, her
she's doing.
clothes are done.
Yeah, she's done. with
So
Running, jogging,
there were-
casual conversations, lunch
Yeah.
out, just naked.
yeah, they were committed to it. So now, yeah, we talked to Bert and Frank and Freddie just talk for a while about zombies, and they're like, does anyone know the rules of zombies in this movie? And
No.
they're like, no, and then like
Don't get them wet.
they look at the director and like the script writer. They're like, does anyone know the rules for zombies in this movie? And they're like, no, I don't know. They're like, all right, well, I mean, I guess we got to kill this dude in the cooler.
Like the scene would have felt shorter if they had actually watched another zombie movie in
Mhm.
this movie. And so we, the audience, could watch something that was entertaining while they're learning about zombies.
Now, I got to say, the part though where they decide, they're like, all right, we guys got to hit this thing in the brain, and he gives the pickaxe to screaming Frank, who's just useless. He's just screaming, and they have Freddy open the door, and then Bert, yeah, he is just standing there, and I honestly don't think that any of those actors had a plan for what was going to happen when they opened the door,
Nope.
because just a naked yellow man runs right out of Sin City and just
That's
fucking,
exactly what I thought. The Sin City.
yeah. I mean, I guess Sin City got it from here, but that yellow bastard just runs out of the cooler and tackles Bert to the ground.
Also a bit of
Huh?
foreshadowing there,
Yeah.
because the zombie obviously recognized that the other two were basically already dead, so it went after
Mhm.
the one live person.
That does make sense. Does make
All right.
sense.
I'll pretend that they put that much thought
Mhm.
into
I'll
it.
allow it.
Yeah.
All
All right.
Counselor.
So zombies in this movie are like the most powerful and capable zombies I've ever seen. So
I'm
like,
saying it's amazing.
It's
They're
almost
not
like
that
they're
s-
like regular humans with like a little bit of paint.
yeah, they're not dumb, like, and their motor skills are barely impaired, and they're invulnerable basically. Like, he fucking hits this guy right in the head with a pickaxe, and he's just got a pickaxe in his head now. So I guess the only thing that they don't have is they don't have the crazy strength that certain zombies would have. They are just as strong as like a corpse would be, because they're pretty easy to overpower.
Yeah.
Well, so now like the what should we call it? Bert's like, I don't know, the hacksaw. So they cut its head off, and its head's still like biting around, and its body gets up and is just running around trashing the place.
Like this scene brought me so much joy.
Oh yeah,
like because it's so ridiculous, and it's like some guys
Yeah.
going just screaming. He's just throwing shit around.
How-
It's like,
that was Frank that was screaming the whole time.
Yes. Yes, it was.
The entire scene, he's screaming.
Now Bert's
No,
hacks
the
on
head kept screaming the whole rest of the
Yeah.
scene. The head,
everybody. It felt like everybody was screaming in this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was another thing I did read was an intentional thing. Maybe not the best choice, but he said he wanted everything to feel frantic, so he often had people talking over each other,
Mhm.
trying to get the more important dialogue to stand out. But otherwise everyone was
Good luck.
screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So who was it? Bert that was actually sawing the head off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he took so friggin' long to do it. It looked like he was like looking up at the director each time he moved his arm back and forth. Like, is this right? Am I doing this right? Like,
Is that good enough yet? Good
yeah,
enough.
Yeah.
it's okay.
how many times do I need to do this?
So
This is the
I
only
don't-
puppet we have. Okay, I'll get it right.
yeah, I'm with Brian. This scene is so silly and stupid. that like I couldn't help but smile during it.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we got to go to the crematorium across the street at the funeral home. Let's fucking like we got to get him there. And they're like, how are we gonna get him there? You know, we do sell stretchers and wheelchairs. And fuck it, get the hacksaw. We're just gonna cut him into a bunch of little pieces. Sure.
Yeah, why not?
They throw him in a bunch of trash bags, and they're like, all right, let's go to the crematorium. So now we cut back to whoever the leather punk with the chain going into his skull.
That was Chuck.
That was Chuck.
Yeah.
I believe that was.
Okay.
It was Chuck, Scuzz, Suicide, Spider, Trash,
Tina.
Tina
and Casey.
Casey
and Monster Mash.
Chuck's
yeah.
Chuck, sour pussy that he may be. I think he might be my favorite character.
Yeah, he's like trying to have some like character monologue about, you know, him and how, you know, his relationship with his friends and everything. And well, first off, trash bag over here, Bowie chick is like grinding all over everything, and like checkered suit guy looks like fucking Crispin Glover.
He
Comes
does.
over.
Yeah, he
Totally
does.
does.
Let's call
Yeah.
him Crispin Ducky.
Crispin Ducky over here comes by and is just
Crispin
like,
Cream.
hey, naked lady, I want to get with that. And like fucking Chuck, like, he's like, fuck off. And then, so like he runs away, and then she's like grinding all over him and all over everything. And he's just trying to like introspect about his character. And he's like, get away from me, bitch. And
Well,
he's
he's full on doing like the you know Hamlet monologue,
Mhm.
and she's humping his leg. It's just like,
I
yo,
yeah.
not the time.
Well,
At one
that's the
point
thing.
he
It's
goes,
like-
he goes like, "What's wrong with you?" Like,
Yeah.
she's
Well,
like,
also-
she's like grabbing his dick, and he's like, "Do you think this is a costume I'm wearing?
yeah.
This is my
But
life."
also, like he's like, go put some clothes on, respect the dead. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. And then, yeah, so I don't know, fucking Crispin Glover and the I don't know what the other female character that's not Tina and not Trash was. I just called
Casey.
her Glam Girl.
Scott.
yeah.
So yeah, so Glam Girl sees like three guys carrying a body to the mortuary. It's like, is that Freddy? And like Crispin Glover doesn't even look, and he's like, I don't know, I want to grab your boobs. And then like it just cuts to Ernie over at the crematorium, and you know he's wearing his snazzy maroon suit, and
Okay.
fucking
Okay. Okay.
what's that?
Okay. All right.
Hold on, you know what he's wearing? He's wearing the same outfit that the Jesus wore in the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
He's
he
wearing
is.
the Jesus's bowling outfit. Okay.
He might have also gotten that from Tony Soprano.
Mm-hmm.
Like. All right. So is Ernie trying to fuck Bert?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Well, I mean, here in Sesame Street,
I honestly just don't think that Ernie and Bert's, actors knew what was going on.
Well,
Like,
'cause, like, so in this scene, like Bert's making up all this bullshit to try and get to use the fucking oven, right?
mm,
Like he said his weasels in the bag of a rabbit, all this bullshit. Like they're eating up time for a scene that's unnecessary. Right?
yeah.
So when they finally open the bag up and a hand grabs Ernie realizes how fucked up this shit is, and like they should burn this shit.
we
But
get
like
a full minute of Ernie cutting his pants into shorts.
yeah, for no
Entire process.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
reason. But like he goes to Bert, he's like, so what's in it for me? And Bert's like, whatever you want. He goes, so you owe me one, right? And like the way he says it, like, so you owe me a big favor, right?
Mm.
And he's like, yeah. And he like looks and pauses and like looks away and looks back. He's like, so like you owe me a big favor, right?
Yeah.
And Bert's like,
How is this?
Wait,
Yeah.
I see what you're getting at, and I totally get where you're coming from, but I think you're forgetting the clear fact that he is a escaped Nazi scientist of some kind, and he's probably working a different angle.
Yeah. I mean, he's still rocking his Luger and everything.
Yeah.
So I was thinking during this scene, I'm like, this conversation between Bert and Ernie is pretty awkward. But then I'm like, I have no idea how I would start the conversation of, I got a guy outside in a fuck you jacket who's going to bring a cut up corpse in here that I need you to light on fire for me. So he's just like, fuck it, weasels. And then they decide to actually spill the beans. And an arm comes out and rips one of Ernie's pants legs, and you get the entire cut that pant leg to short scene. And then the exposition scene as to how we
Just
got
cuts
to
him to
here.
Daisy Duke.
Yeah, the expedition scene, like we skip all that, and they're like, "All right, but just fucking bring him to the crematorium, I guess." And they throw all the pieces of this cadaver into the crematorium. And the zombies in this movie, man, like you just can't win. Even when you kill it with fire, it releases the trioxin gas, which is still the trioxin gas somehow.
Yeah.
And it just goes out the chimney, and immediately it starts raining, and the rainwater is dumping the gas onto the punks in the cemetery, and they're like, getting chemical burns and whatnot.
Acid
But
rain.
they don't have any makeup for that, so they're just complaining about it. Yeah. Trash attempts to
Boiling
grab her.
Boiling acid.
Trash attempts to grab her clothes, and it's just like, fuck it, I don't need them. And they all run and get inside the convertible, which not trash. Chuck has already smashed the windows out of because fuck windows.
Yeah.
And
He's a nonconformist.
yeah, you see the trioxin rain here goes down through the ground and reaches some feet in a coffin, and boom, boom, boom. The dead things are contaminated now.
Boom, bada boom.
And now we just like Frank and Freddie now are complaining about feeling sick. So Ernie's like, all right, let's go call some paramedics over to his funeral home, which is called the Resurrection Funeral Home.
And by complaining about being
but,
sick, you mean,
Yeah.
we're dying.
Well,
Yeah.
Freddie's actor is just like, I'm not going to do that. So I'll say I'm sick, but Frank's just.
It's like, I need an Oscar before I die.
It's like you couldn't have given him a mouthful of something to cough up at least once. No, it's just him dry heaving the entire time. All right, so the dead are starting to rise from the graveyard, and Tina is just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get Freddie while everyone else is sitting in the car. And Freddie goes into the you need a medical supply and just walks around the place, and then decides to go in the basement. And when she gets in there, then of course she runs into Tarman, who is just straight up like brains. So like every zombie in this movie also has the power to talk, whether or not they should be able to or not.
Yeah, whether
So-
they have lips or a tongue,
Yeah.
or any.
Well, that's the other thing. This is the movie that pretty much started that, or at least popularized it. Because Night of the Living Dead, that was not actually a thing they said. That they were just out to eat you, and they generally didn't say anything about it. But this is the one that's focused on they eat your brain to make them feel better, I guess, is the deal.
Yeah.
So she falls through the third step. That is indeed a bitch. And Tarman is on her, and she has to run and hide in a cabinet, lock herself in that. And Tarman's smart as hell. He gets a chain, hooks it up to a hoist. It starts like cranking that to rip the door off the cabinet. And I'm like, that's pretty advanced for a zombie there.
It's not your typical zombie.
Yeah. So
He went
now,
to fry.
the rest of the punks all get out of Chuck's car because it's like he stabbed holes in the roof too, besides smashing the windows. So like the rain is still leaking on them. So Trash at least at this point like wraps a blanket around her, and they they go down into the basement too because they hear Tina screaming, and Chuck just like pulls back a curtain, and there's Tarman, and he just bites right through Chuck's skull and leaves him convulsing on the floor.
Yo, their teeth are are sharp as fuck because they know how to bite skulls. Like,
Yeah.
That's where the brains are.
Yeah, like they go through it like it's nothing. Like not
But
even
only-
like they
only
had to gnaw on
skulls.
it. Only skulls, yes. So now
Unique ability.
they all run, and I thought for a second we were gonna get the the black man in the horror movie trope, because what's his name, Spider's holding the door and the rest of them just run away, what it looks like, and I'm like, whoa, okay, they just left that dude there. And then, but no, they come back and they all barricade the door. And then, so Tarman's stuck in the basement, and we cut back to the paramedics now arriving at the Resurrection Funeral Home, and they go and they take like readings with all of their equipment on Freddy and Frank, and see that they don't really have pulses and their temperatures room temperature and all that, and they're just like, let's go talk over here for a sec. But they ultimately don't really do anything. And then it cuts back to the punks who are running around the cemetery, and that now you're seeing the corpses straight up rising from the grave, including that really cheesy skeleton. Yeah. And Trash at this point does fall down in a giant puddle and gets eaten by a bunch of old men. So, I mean, wish granted, I guess.
There you go.
Again, set up, payoff, but what was the
point? So now the paramedics are just straight up like, they're like, I'm not saying you're dead, but you're showing every sign that you're dead. So Frank and Freddy start flipping out. And the paramedics are like, all right, let's go outside and call this in, I guess. And meanwhile, at the same time, like there's knocking on Ernie's door as Trenchcoat Punk. I don't know if he's Suicide or whatever. But
that was Scud, I believe.
Oh, Scuzz. Okay. And then Spider and Glam Girl, or not Glam Girl, Tina make it to the mortuary and convince Ernie to let them in. And then fucking Crispin Glover and Glam Girl make it over to the medical supply area, and they're holding out there. And so the paramedics, they go out to go back in their ambulance and are essentially just immediately killed by zombies.
Yep.
And one of them is turned into a really not convincing dummy that's supposed to have brains leaking out of it. That looks different when the camera zooms on it than what it does look like in the far shot.
It looks like they just took like a pair of like a set of clothes and put an empty bucket in the neck hole.
Yeah.
With this crap falling out of it.
Like if they
was.
bought a mannequin and just sawed off a quarter of its head, but didn't even put the fake brains in it.
Right.
So now, what should we call it? Like, Crispin Glover and, the Glam Girl are in the office, and, fucking like a zombie just burst through the window. And, so they leave there and they, what should we call it? They lock themselves somewhere in the fucking, you need a medical supply, and we don't see them for a while. And now Tina reunites with Freddy. Woo. Ernie goes outside for a hot second to check on the people in the ambulance, and then has an encounter with a one-armed, no-legged zombie, which is actually just a dwarf in a zombie suit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And this torso thing just kind of like, he shoots it a few times, the gun does nothing, and the zombie just somehow flips up on its like stump nubs. Yeah, and breakdances after him. And you're like, at first I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool effect with the one-armed zombie here. And then I'm like, no, that's just a dwarf in a zombie suit flopping around.
I mean, or it's legitimately like a a person who's missing. Yeah.
Either
think, way.
Yeah, the proportion wise, I think that was a dwarf. I gotta say, I did like the one trick they pulled on the actor that plays Daryl in The Walking Dead, where they actually had a triple amputee all zombied up, and he just had like one arm, and they put him like under his bed in his hotel room. So he came in and just like, there's a funny like hidden camera video of this. You can see it on YouTube. With just a dick with Norman Reedus, that's what it is. So good old Scud himself. So he comes into his hotel room and just like sits down at the table and is reading something. And a fucking like it was Walking Dead quality makeup effects on a guy with just one arm, and he comes at him like hard, and like Norman Reedus freaks out. But then he got to take his picture with Daryl. It was a good time. So anyway,
I can get you a triple amputee real cheap.
Yeah.
No, well, that is one thing they do well. They get a lot of people who have amputations or whatever, and they use effects to make it look like they're full zombies until an arm gets ripped off or whatever.
And that's why you always leave a note.
Yeah.
So The phones are just dead for whatever reason. The zombies ate the phone lines, whatever. And we get a scene that I actually kind of enjoyed, even though it did go on for a long time, of them just fortifying the front door to the to the funeral home, where they're like trying to hammer this big ass like dresser or whatever to the door. And now the zombies are smart enough to realize cause and effect relationships, where one of them gets on to dispatch for the paramedics and is like, we need more paramedics. And so, yeah, they call for more help. Freddy starts getting rigor mortis in a plot line that ends up going nowhere. And then that's when they decide, they're like, all right, well, we need to friggin'... No, they're not even at that point yet. Never mind. So new paramedics show up and are immediately eaten. Yeah. And it's just like, all right, thanks for coming, I guess. And then
therefore,
yeah, zombies break into one window in the funeral home in like a supply closet and bite like Scuzz's head, and there's just like a hose of blood shooting out of like Scuzz's head, like real, like a fountain, like a real. There's not this much blood in a person, and it doesn't spray out like a fucking like it's coming out of a garden hose.
They have high pressure. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I think Scuzz did have high blood pressure. That is true.
How do you know, Joe? How many skulls have you bitten into?
Enough.
Right? Like 3, right?
Enough to know. Yeah, I think 3's enough. Like, to know that your teeth don't just chomp into someone's skull like that and that much blood doesn't shoot out. So they, from this little zombie encounter here, Scuzz dies, I guess, but in this movie, it's unclear if zombie bites bring you back or not.
No, they definitely do.
But he doesn't come back.
Yeah, or I guess we just don't see him. I don't know. I think Scuzz's mom needed him, so he went home.
David Bowie definitely comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence that she got bitten anywhere.
Yeah, that's fair.
The only reason why she comes back is because like she died in that rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone who died in that rain came back.
So now we end up with half a zombie lady. Don't worry. We saved the tits.
Yeah. Don't worry, everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody molded those for us.
So they get her on the table. It's obviously like a woman in makeup, in the medical table, and then a really not good looking zombie torso. And they're just having a casual conversation with half a zombie about, wanting brains, and brains make the pain of being dead go away. So they can feel themselves rotting. Yep. So they're like, we need to burn like 100 zombies. I don't know how we're going to do that. But the movie's like, I don't know, fucking, I'm going to cut to the scene of trash over here, naked David Bowie lady rising as a zombie
now,
and immediately eating a bum.
She looks like Ronald McDonald. Like, aside from the tits, obviously.
Like those are more like Grimace.
Yeah, those are a little more like Grimace.
Wow.
Or one of the Fry guys.
If Ronald McDonald gave birth to the lady on top of the building in Ghostbusters.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. The Gozerian?
Yeah, she asks the bum if if he's a god. He says no, so she eats him. Yep.
Choose the form of your destructor, and
now,
it is Grimace.
You would think, like, being able to talk to these zombies and the fact that they can apparently reason, you could just say, "Hey, we have this crematorium," because we see one of the zombies do that. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert, you could be like, you could just all get into this crematorium and then the pain will go away. You'll be rightly dead again, no more pain, no more having to hunt brains.
You're assuming that's their one and only goal. I think the thing is they don't want to feel the pain, but they don't want to die.
So
it's like if you broke your leg, you wouldn't want to necessarily just die. You just want the pain to go away.
I don't know. I might.
Well, you're kind of weak, so maybe, but
I won't be able to race anymore.
Yeah.
I'll have to put you down.
So now they're like, all right, I think Frank and Freddy are going to turn into zombies. Let's put them in the chapel. And Tina's like, well, I'm staying with them. So they're like, well,
okay,
fuck you, I guess. Like, just stay in there.
Hi, Felicia.
Yeah. And they just lock her in there. And And that now the cops arrive at the mortuary, and at least the cops are smart enough to phone in the 2 lost ambulances before they get out of the car and die.
Yeah.
And now one of the cops gets the dispatch, and it's like, send more cops. And
One of the zombies does.
yeah, one of the zombies. Yep. And Freddy now dies in Tina's arms and wants her brains. Well, he dies again, I guess. The
Yeah.
part that was Freddy dies.
Normally he's just like, could I get some brain? But
Yeah.
this is
Ah,
a little different.
So
Hey,
now
guys, I could be cool too.
they the 3 guys that are left at this point, what is it? It's Bert, Ernie, and Spider. They come back and let Tina out of the chapel, throw some acid in whatchamacallit, in Freddy's face. Frank, meanwhile, just sneaks out like, nobody look at me, and just runs out of the chapel. And Ernie breaks his ankle. They barricade Freddy back in the chapel. And Bert and Spider are like, fuck it, we're just going for the car. Like, we'll come back and get you guys, but, if we stay here, nothing good's going to come of it. So they go and they get the cop car, and they somehow just make it through all the zombies, no problem. And then they're like, there's like 100 zombies between them and the mortuary. So they're just like, well, sorry, guys, we'll come back with help, I guess. And so they leave Tina and Ernie in the mortuary, who are smart enough at least to climb into the crawl space there. And then the freaking, like, they drive around for like a minute. And when they get onto the street that the warehouse is on, there's so many zombies. So rather than just plow through the zombies, they crash the car into You Need a Medical Supply. And the car freaking explodes. And I guess off screen, it destroys Bert's car too.
he says that his is gone too.
Yeah, it destroys like all the cars apparently.
And so freaking Zombie Frank is like, I'm just going to kill myself. I'm just going to get in the crematorium and close the door. Just takes himself out. A bunch of cops show up in the cemetery, and the zombies pull off a particularly nasty ambush where they all hid in the bushes, and one zombie pretended to be a cop waving them on. And of course, cops are immediately like, if they see another like person in a police hat waving a flashlight, they're like, we're going wherever that guy says to go.
Of course.
Yep.
Now, one thing I don't get, right? Like, now the zombies work together to get brains. I get it, right? But like, one brain isn't enough for all those zombies. So I'm surprised they don't fight each other to get to the brain. You know what I mean?
Like the orcs in Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Yeah, like you would think that like that's such a hot commodity that like that they'd want to get to it, before any other ones would. But no, they all like, that's your brain this time. Okay, cool. And then like,
so now I look at the movie's timer, like, as I have the progress bar going as I'm watching, and I'm like, there's probably 5 minutes of movie and 5 minutes of credits left.
Yep.
And I'm like, we're like, I wouldn't even say we're at a third act yet. And then little did I know there's like 8 minutes of movie and maybe 2 minutes of credits. But they're just like, we have to end this somehow. So let's do this. Freddy, like, he storms into the mortuary and tries to like guilt trip Tina, and knows that she's in the crawl space, and he's trying to like break in there. And you see Ernie looking like he's going to take the gun and shoot Tina in the head.
Oh yeah.
But ultimately we don't really see much from that. Then like Glam Girl and Spider and fucking Crispin Glover and Bert, they're like, all right, we got to use the phone to call the cops. And what's her name? They're like, you can't use the phone in your office. The zombies got in there and destroyed the phone. So he's like, all right, I got a phone in the basement. And they're like, well, the fucking Tar Man's down there. Bert's like, there's like 5 minutes left in this movie. Let me handle Tar Man.
Whatever.
Just a fucking sweet decapitation on like just this guy, with a fake head on, comes walking out of the basement, and Bert just fucking Louisville sluggers this guy's head right on.
Like, Badoo.
I gotta say, like, I was not expecting that. That one, I enjoyed how that shot went. So they call the cops, and they talk to the captain in charge of the barricade of they've established a perimeter. The perimeter doesn't do shit because guns can't do anything to these zombies.
Right.
So
Nothing able to do.
A bunch of zombies led by naked trash bag. Fucking just
It's just trash.
Chomp down on these guys.
I legit never thought I would get tired of seeing breasts.
Well, at this point, they're gray too, mud
They are
gray.
And she's got Morbius face on.
Yeah, it looks like they tore out her throat ish, like her mouth distended somehow. I don't know. It's weird because you think they would have gone for her brain.
Yeah, she looks like Emperor Palpatine with tits and red hair.
Oh yeah.
So,
all right, keep it together, Will.
Yeah, you're just all right. I'm done with fucking naked trash. Can we move on? And now Bert in the basement, he just calls the emergency number on the tanks that are holding the corpses.
Finally.
Yeah, reaches out to Colonel Sourpuss, who's in bed. And now we have 5 minutes of movie
having
left.
hardcore sex with his wife.
Yeah.
That fire
His
plug.
wife wishes. And
keep that roast warm.
We have 5 minutes of movie left, including the credits, and we spend a good 45 seconds to a minute just listening to the Colonel get the facts from Bert.
Yes.
And,
Yep.
And then what happened?
Oh yeah.
We still have a few more minutes left to fill to make this an actual movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the heart of the
right.
third act, we're just gonna listen to a guy
And then you
get
did what?
told the
Okay.
exposition.
And
Titties?
you told him,
Alright.
and you told him what? Okay.
Completely naked?
And did you get fries with that? Okay.
Gucci and everything? My God.
I gotta though, because he's just he's not fucking around. He's all right, we'll take care of it right away, and just fucking walks over to his microwave communicator and calls up some sergeant somebody at a model of a railway artillery gun.
The dude's been sitting there for 15 years, presumably.
Yeah. And it's just one guy manning what appears to be a nuclear artillery piece. And it's an obvious model, not even close to jazzing it up. You could have filmed it from a little further away or anything.
It's
But
probably a scene they cut out of some Godzilla movie. somewhere.
Yeah. And no, they just fire a shell, at the coordinates, and you see Bert. He's like, "Do you hear that?" And it's like you can't hear the shell that hits you. It's going faster than the speed of sound. But that's not the only movie that's guilty of that cliche. So what should we call it? At the same time, Freddy bursts into the crawl space. And I don't know if we see Trash's tits again or whatever, but basically you just get one quick flash of all the characters that are left, and then a big old nuclear explosion as 20 blocks of Louisville go up in nuclear hellfire. 4,000 are dead. And Colonel Sourpuss is yeah, don't worry about the fires, it's fine. And then of course the fires are causing the trioxin to spread more, and it's starting to rain more. And you get the same shot of the water reaching the foot of the corpse.
Yeah.
And the same shot of a skeleton rising from the ground.
And I'm like, no, the movie's starting over again. No.
Yep.
And that's it.
That is the point. Is it's this is basically just happening again. It's all going to start again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plus, they have a limited budget.
Raccoon City, here we come.
So yeah, the credits are just highlights of the movie. Not even a blooper reel. Just select choice cuts from the film.
I would say ends and pieces.
Ends and pieces, yeah. And then that's it. And the the movie has some pretty kicking songs in the end credits, but then that's it. Movie over. It's exactly 90 minutes.
The end credits basically plays 5 minutes of the movie during them.
Honestly, you could watch the end credits and just get the synopsis of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're good.
Return of the Tony.
What was something happened there?
Tony.
Yeah.
Tell us about Return of the Living Dead.
I think Joe just did that. Oh, okay. So on RottenTomatoes.com, critics gave this a score of, prepare yourselves, 92%.
What?
Audience gave this a score of 79%. That's their thoughts and opinions. What about you and yours, Rob? You seem vocal.
I would like to announce my resignation from the podcast.
Nope.
This movie was
Check
Motherfucker,
out.
you said
you
you're
could-
Batman and Robin.
You can check
sort
out
of.
anytime you
Sure.
want, but you can never leave.
Yeah.
This movie was so boring. Holy crap, this movie was boring. Especially for a comedy. Like, not funny, not entertaining. It had more talking about nothing than the original Night of the Living Dead. The effects were like I've never seen somebody put so much effort into so little. So no, this is nah.
Okay.
Nah, man.
No on Rob.
No, thank you.
Joe.
This one was a tough call for me whether to recommend it or not. Ultimately, I think I am not gonna recommend it just because some of the content hasn't really aged all that well. But I had fun with a good portion of this movie, and its energy I enjoyed. It has a lot of problems, but it's just like, come on. And so like I'm trying to think in the historical pantheon of zombie stuff. Like I guess this is somewhat of an important film, but like I can't really recommend that people watch it. Like I know people that would enjoy this film, but I would think most people would not. I mean, I had fun with it, but ultimately I was like, was that worth 90 minutes? And it's just barely a no. So I would say that this is like it's a light not recommend, if that makes sense. I think a lot of people could like this movie, but I'm not going to recommend it.
Okay. Brian.
Yo, I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie. Like it's a movie where like they tell you immediately what it is. Like
True story.
immediately what it is. Like, and it's like here's a serious movie that you guys have probably seen before. We're not that. And if you go, okay, then you're all right with the rest of the movie. If you can't get past that, then I can see how you might hate it. But like, this shit's funny. It's so bad it's good to me. And like I would recommend someone to watch this again. I'd watch it again because it draws on sometimes along because it's trying to fill scenes or whatever, to fill time, and those scenes could be edited out. So this movie could probably be like maybe 50 minutes long, and you would get everything you need from it. But
It's
like
not a movie though.
it's an hour long TV show. You know with first
It really could be cut in half.
That's an HBO special.
I let y'all talk.
Yeah.
Let everyone talk. Let me just say what I gotta say before you start trying to rip me, whatever. It does just what it set out to do, and it wasn't meant to be serious. It wasn't meant to be something that was a classic. Well, I think it has hit like cult status for some people. But yeah, like watch it. It's not gonna hurt you to watch this movie. Like I don't understand people that are like hurt by this, but you know I enjoyed it.
All right. Will.
Yeah, so to me, I didn't really enjoy this movie, and I think that's totally fine that some people did and some people don't, and you know we can all have different opinions. But shut up, Tony. Yeah, to me it was just kind of boring. It didn't keep my attention. Maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace for it. I think it would be really entertaining to watch like a riff tracks or even if we had, I think I said this for something other we recorded during the quarantine, but I think it would have been fun if some of us had been there together and I could have gotten a little more out of it.
That may have changed. That may have changed it for sure.
Because to me, it's kind of like I didn't really know what to expect. So as soon as it started, I'm like, okay, this is like, I guess, going to be a parody comedy. And just, I just didn't really enjoy it that much. I was kind of on my phone, sort of distracted. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. It's hard for me to say I don't recommend it just because, I didn't like it. But like if that's your, horror comedy is your thing, I think you would enjoy it. Like some of the effects were cool. Some of the practical stuff is cool, but yeah, I just didn't really hit me anywhere on viewing it today. So yeah, I would say I didn't really like it that much.
Okay. Yeah, I would go with a light recommend because, kind of as pointed out here, if you're into this kind of thing, you might enjoy it. If you're not, you're probably not going to like it. I don't know how I'd feel if I had seen it now, but since I saw this first when I was younger, again, it made me totally love zombies. I like the effects, even the cheesy skeleton that was clearly crap, and like I can now tell how its jaw was broken when it opened and stuff, and I could see the wires. But when I was younger, I was like, that's so cool, and I loved it all. It's part of why I'm fucked up, I'm sure, but whatever.
Babe, put on the clown wig.
Yeah, right. So anyway, it's probably not going to win people over. If you're not into zombies, you definitely, this isn't going to be your cup of tea. But if you like horror stuff, this is a kind of an important one for zombies, even though it's not, the most known or most touted. This is, was an important stepping stone for them. I do still like some of the special effects, even though they are clearly dated and cheesy.
Special effects.
I found it a bit more fun. It is kind of slow. I get that, but overall I enjoyed it. So a light recommend from me. All right, so since most of us did not recommend this movie, however, what would we recommend instead of this, gentlemen?
What's the I haven't seen the original. Dawn of the Dead's the one in the mall, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen the original, but I enjoyed I think it was Zack Snyder version.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen enough of the old zombie movies to recommend one in this place.
I would recommend the Mystery Science Theater classic Zombie Nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand you sometimes.
Starring Adam West.
I would recommend the Cranberries video Zombie, but not the Bad Wolves 2018 remake of the song.
Ooh, what? No, what? Ooh, huh? What?
Huh? What?
I didn't know somebody remade that song.
Yeah, why did that happen?
That's not a song you remake.
No, nope, it's not good.
Ugh.
All right.
And I do want it on record that I wasn't ripping Brian for liking this movie. It's totally fine if he likes the movie. I was ripping him on calling a 50-minute something a movie. I was just ripping on that it wasn't a movie at that point.
That's okay. No one listens to you anyway.
If I was to recommend something else, I would say like the first 2 or 3 seasons of The Walking Dead.
We're getting
Shut up, Rob. I'll come over
here
your house and beat you with a stick.
All right. I'm gonna call it as,
in your Robin costume.
No, because I know you'd get off on that.
Wow. I'm gonna call it on recommending Dawn of the Dead from 2004.
Yeah.
That's an actually good Zack Snyder, right?
That's probably the best Zack Snyder you're ever gonna get.
Yeah, that was like right around. That was before 300 even, right? Like that was in the era where people were like, "This guy actually makes good films."
I believe so.
Let's give him the keys to the kingdom.
It was pre Sucker Punch.
Oh god.
So anyway,
that definitely deserves a rewatch. So,
Yeah.
but until I, can change my, have a different solid opinion on it, we'll say Dawn of the Dead.
Now, I'm not a historian on how we've rated things, but I think this is the first movie that's run the gamut of so one of us strongly didn't recommend it. One of us kind of lightly didn't well, 2 of us sort of lightly didn't recommend it. One of us sort of recommended it, and one of us fully endorsed it.
It's kind of
cool. Usually we're all kind of in one camp or the other.
In the same ballpark, at least.
Yeah, if there's going to be differing, it's the 3 of you guys, the 4 of you guys versus me, or something in one person doesn't like it and everyone likes it, or one person likes it and everyone hates it.
If this was a ballpark,
Hey, Will.
It batted the cycle.
I see where you're going, and I need you to just stop.
You don't know what I'm doing, bro. I was gonna say if this movie was a ballpark, it'd be like Brian was on the pitcher's mound, Tony was the catcher, Joe was in the stand somewhere,
out in left field.
Yeah, I was in the parking lot looking at my phone, and Rob was just still at home.
Yeah.
Rob never even showed up.
Just like in real life. We tried to do something outdoors. Rob stayed home.
Mhm.
What a piece of shit that guy is.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
All right, kids. I think that's it. Anybody got anything else they want to plug or
Nah.
sing a song about? No? Okay. Guys, we want to thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard, please consider subscribing. We make episodes for our archive, merchandise store, and more information. Check out our website at 4ampodcast.podbean.com. You can contact us by following us on Twitter or Facebook at 4am Podcast, or email us at the4ampodcast@gmail.com. And of course, if you want to help support what we do, please consider becoming a Patreon member at patreon.com/4am podcast.
Those of you that move up to the $10 tier will get your skull bitten through by either Tony or Will.
Oh,
And a signed photo of me in my Robin costume.
Yes. Well, if you get Will, he's going to bite through your skull in his Robin costume.
That's right.
And actually, I just thought of a song I'd like to sing if I could.
yeah.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, never mind.
All right. All right. On that note, bye, guys.
Deuces.
Bye. Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Words.